bothered about what could be coming. Every day we danced and life was smiling. We were young and drunk in love.
Hey guys, welcome back to Desert DIY. If you are new here, my name is Cory. Today my husband and I are going to be flipping this gigantic 10-foot long church pew. Came straight out of the 70s, I'm guessing, with that shag orange fabric that's on there. We found it on the curb. Somebody had posted it online for free and nobody went and picked it up. So we came and got it and wanted to give it an awesome makeover. You know how I am about picking the worst of the worst and making it beautiful again, and I think this is a perfect example of one of those type of projects. I am also going to be sharing with you guys my birth story for my fourth child who was recently born last month. I took a little break and had my own sort of maternity leave to bond with her, and she is doing so well. I cannot wait to share her story with you guys because she had a very, very unexpected birth. It was scary to say the least, but she is doing really well. But back to the project. My husband took this entire thing apart for me. I was very, very pregnant during the time that this was getting done, and then about like 3/4 of the way through this project, I ended up having my baby. So then after she was born, we finished it up, and I will show you that process of how that happened later on in the video. But right now my husband is just removing the legs, the sides, and then he's going to remove that nasty old fabric. And I couldn't help but think how many butts have probably sat on this fabric, and there's no way I would leave this fabric underneath any new fabric for that reason alone. But also it was just really, really dirty and gross. It seems like it had been left outside. It was covered in pollen and dirt and things like that. But it didn't really have any water damage, which is great. That is one of the upsides to living in the desert. Things generally don't get rained on very often over here. So it must not have been outside for that long. There were so many staples in this piece and nails too on top of that. So my husband really had his work cut out for him getting this fabric off and then following up by taking out all the staples and nails that were left behind from this fabric. Also, this fabric was pretty much like carpet. It was really weird. I can't imagine walking into church and seeing bright orange church pews all over the place that are in like a shag carpet fabric. Gotta love that era, but you know, it doesn't really matter. Every single style goes in and out of style over and over again. I wouldn't even be surprised if one day orange shag comes back in style. But for now, I'm going to do this in a dark navy blue. I love navy blue, and we went shopping at Hobby Lobby for some outdoor fabrics. I ended up not finding the fabric that I wanted there. Hobby Lobby has sale schedules where things go on and off sale, and for this time that we went shopping, the fabrics were not on sale, but the pillow covers were. And I looked all through them. I didn't find any that I wanted for my outside space, but I just wanted to show you guys how cute a lot of these were. And they were all half off, so they were like $10 and less. Really cute ones that would have gone with my dark blue theme. And instead of buying pillow inserts, I buy just the filling, like the stuffed animal filling, I guess. Polyfill is what they call it. But they have it really cheap at Hobby Lobby. It's like $2.99, I believe. And then I went to Joann's and ended up finding the navy blue fabric that I needed. It was only $7 a yard plus the coupon discounts. So I had to get 10 feet of that, more than 10 feet actually, in order to fit the whole length of this piece here. I was still pregnant in this part of the filming, so this was before my daughter was born. But I will go ahead and start with her birth story right now, because it is a little bit long. There's like a little bit of a backstory to how we ended up in the position we were in. So at 20 weeks, we got our anatomy scan done, which is the ultrasound where they check to make sure that the baby has all 10 fingers and toes and whatnot. And we found out that our daughter had something called a single umbilical artery. This means that her umbilical cord only had one artery and one vein, and they're supposed to have two arteries and one vein. So this made her be at a higher risk for some complications. Then throughout the pregnancy, every single time I got an ultrasound, she was breech, which meant that she had her head up and her butt down, and they do not allow you to birth a breech baby at the hospital that I was going to have her at, so she was leaning more towards being a C-section, which I didn't really want. And so we were given the option of doing a version, which is where they manually turn the baby from the outside of your body. So the doctor will use their hands to manipulate the baby and flip them to where they're head down. And we got that done, and it was done successfully. We had no complications. I had watched a ton of YouTube videos about versions and read about it and heard what the risks were, and there was a risk that the umbilical cord could get compressed somewhere or wrapped around the baby's neck or whatever it may be, but they have you stay in the hospital for a while after the procedure to make sure that their heart rate is really good and to make sure that that doesn't happen, that if it does, they would go into C-section or whatever it is that they need to do to make sure that the baby is safe when that happens. Another thing that happened was my husband brought home COVID from work, and he didn't get it that bad. My other kids barely even were sick. You couldn't even really tell they had it. And I got it really severely. I guess pregnant women are more likely to get it really severe. Really quick, I just want to mention what I'm doing right here in this part of the video, or what my husband was doing in this part of the video, is we used a gel stain and some shop cloth paper towels, because they're like lint free, to stain the wood pieces back to a beautiful luster, I guess. They were just kind of sun-beaten and faded, so they really just needed to be restained again. I could have painted them also. There were a lot of options I could have done with this, but I wanted it to be like a deep and dark, beautiful wood tone to go with that navy color that we were doing in the fabric. And I'm also going to go with a bit of a sunflower theme for the pillows that I'm going to put on here, which I'll show you in a little bit. But going back to my daughter Aurora's birth story, since I had COVID really bad, I was sick for almost 3 weeks. I didn't have breathing issues or anything like that. I had a really horrible cough. That was my worst symptom, cough and really bad sore throat. And I was exhausted, just completely exhausted, and I couldn't really take any medications. They had told me I could take cough medicine during that time, and I tried it, and it did nothing to help me. I was just too sick. It didn't help, so I decided not to use it since it wasn't helping me in any way. But the next product I'm going to use really quick is an outdoor clear coat that is an oil-based polyurethane, and here's what the can looks like right now. Since this is going to be outdoors where I'm using it, I wanted to make sure that it was going to stand up to the test of the elements here, and I just brushed it on. I did 2 coats, and I flipped and did the other side as well, and it was a pretty quick drying one. Nowadays they make them to where they dry pretty quickly, whereas in the past a lot of them took like 24 to 72 hours to even dry to the touch. They're really sticky, oily polyurethanes, and it also depends on your climate. But here is a picture of us together when we went to go get the version done for turning the baby. The doctor came in and did it in less than a minute and turned her, but it turned out that she did have her cord get wrapped around her neck and pinched, and since she only had the one artery, she was not doing so well. So the next day I went in for my regular checkup to make sure her heart rate was doing well, and we ended up having to induce and she was born the day after that. And it was a very scary delivery. Her heart rate dipped and disappeared quite a few times during labor as well as during the delivery. And when she was born, she had the cord wrapped not only around her neck but also around her chest. And she was dark purple and wasn't crying. It was terrifying, but she ended up recovering very quickly within a minute, and she's doing so well now. She's perfectly healthy. She's gaining tons of weight. I call her my little milk monster because she's always hungry. She was 6 pounds, 7 ounces, and 19 inches. We knew that she was going to be kind of small, one, because I was only 38 weeks pregnant when that happened, and two, because she had that single artery. So she was getting less blood flow, I guess, less nutrients and things, and they tend to be on the smaller side when they have that single artery, although that's not always the case. Sometimes moms with the single artery have massive one artery in there, so it ends up making up the difference for it. But mine was actually pretty small. They actually showed it to me after we cut the cord. You could see that there was the one artery and the one vein, and they were both very small. So she's my little tiny girl, and I will show you a clip of her in a minute. I had actually had her in my arms the whole time that I was filming my husband doing this part of the project, and all that was left to do was put all the pieces back together. I didn't do the fabric on the back of the chair, one, because 10 feet of fabric is quite expensive, so I wanted to avoid the cost for this piece, but also nobody's going to see the back of this because it's going to be against something. And so it wasn't really a big deal to me to leave that part exposed in the back, although it would be easy to cover it later. No big deal. If I wanted to put fabric on the back, I can just staple it on the back. But here we are hanging out while my husband was doing the work. I had her in a rocking chair that I had just picked up. Somebody was selling it on Facebook Marketplace, and I needed one for my backyard. Excuse how much of a hot mess I look in this video. But, you know, having a baby is pretty tiring. But look at how cute she is. Oh, she's already grown so much since I filmed this. And as my videos go on, you will see me carrying her in the baby wrap carrier thing, just like I did with my son, if you've been watching my channel for a long time. But let's finish up this project.
Here's to the good days, here's to the sorrows. If this is a mistake, I know about tomorrow. I don't wanna fight no more, cause I don't feel the need no more, no. Just wanna make it stop. Maybe it's something in the water, or maybe we just hit the end of the road. Right now it doesn't even matter. It's too late not to let it go. And that's why I wish you the best and say goodbye. You start to get dressed and then we cry, cause we both know it's gonna hurt, but not as much as this does. We had a good run, don't say we didn't. I was your first love, and you were my first one. Cheers to all the memories, the venom and the remedies, yeah. Promise I won't forget, yeah. Maybe it's something in the water.
I'd say it's looking pretty sharp now. I still have to add on some pillows and a little throw blanket. And I am also going to stage a little area on my back porch with some things that I picked up from Facebook Marketplace that are going to be some future projects for me. I just wanted to show it first before I add all that stuff on there though. It looks so nice and clean. I picked up a pack of these really cute sunflower pillow covers, and I'm just going to fill them with some polyfill. This stuff is like $2.99 at Hobby Lobby for a whole bag like this, so I'll fill an entire pillow. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill my own pillow instead of paying for an actual insert for the pillow.
On the floor, looking up, wanting more. This is so unreal. I must have been wrong. Guess your love is strong for him. Why would it not be? He's always there for you.
Thank you so much for watching this project today, as well as letting me share my birth story with you. I love sharing her story because it is a story of strength, that is for sure. She is a fighter and a warrior, and she made it through quite a bit of tests in her birth. And I have tons more projects for you guys coming up. I can't wait to share them for you all. On my maternity leave, I was full of inspiration and have tons of ideas for videos that are coming up soon, so keep an eye out. Thanks for watching. Bye.